Thursday love. Thursday love.
We on mute. Did y'all see me talking like? Yeah, we on mute. Look,
we're not on mute anymore.
We on mute. Look, before we even start, I want to let everybody know that Sherry is being mean to me.
How am I being mean to you?
She's being mean. I can't tell you all the details right now because we got to save some time for the Murrays. But I just want y'all to know that she's being...
Duffys. I told you. Murray name.
Murray, you got 2 last names.
I thought it's the Duffys. It's not Murray.
Everybody, we've been having a great time with Thursday Love. We had the singles on a few months back, and that was awesome. And for the last couple of weeks, we have been having some pretty great married couples. They've shared some great information, great nuggets. If y'all hear that noise in the background, it's once again Sherry is bullying me. So you see that look on her face? That's when just like tears caught in the headlights. But we've been having great couples. They've been having great information to share. And the wonderful thing about it all is none of them have been alike. All of them had different experiences. I do got one question though that I want to ask you, Mary. One question, because all the other people answer this question just about the same way. So I'm gonna wait to ask you that, but I can't wait to ask it. But
is that coming through? Do y'all hear any noise? Do y'all hear like any static noise or anything? I want to know if anybody's hearing anything. That's just us.
Yeah.
Okay.
This right here.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
All right. So, but tonight we have another awesome couple tonight. We've been knowing them for a while. They are pretty cool people. If nothing else, they love Jesus. First and foremost, they got 2 kids, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm right. You've been correcting me everything else. They got 2.
See, they do hear a little bit of static.
Oh, y'all do hear a little bit of static?
Yeah, they say they do.
All right, let's see this. Let's just cut this out right here.
Yeah. They do. They hear.
We can't do that. Hold on, keep talking. Let me try something different. Keep talking.
Well, it's not. I don't hear it now.
I know because I ain't got it in. You can't hear them either. Keep talking. Keep talking.
All right. So tonight, like I said, tonight concludes our March Madness. We've been doing March Madness all month, and so this year we did marriage and ministry, and we had 4 amazing couples. And tonight we have another amazing couple. It's the Duffys, and they hail from Georgia. So we're excited because they're in our Reformation, WHI, and so we know them from Word Harvest. And but it says not that. Mike said it's not that bad. We can live with it. But so the thing is, we know them from church. And so tonight we're excited about bringing them in so they can tell their story. Once we get this straight, we're going to bring them in so they can talk to us and we can get started. So we do apologize for not having this right.
And let me say this. They like us because his wife don't play. She's serious business. So if she didn't like us, she wouldn't be on Thursday Love. So thank you for liking us.
I'm trying to text Apostle Ballard. I was trying to text Apostle Ballard.
Oh, we'll get it. Just go ahead. We get it.
So yeah. You got it?
I'm getting it.
You getting it?
Keep talking. Let the God use you.
All right. We're going to bring y'all in, boo. We're going to bring y'all in.
Go ahead. Bring me in.
It would be something on the last Thursday, right?
It's okay. It's okay. God is still good. We in all the time.
So can I just go ahead and bring them in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bring them in while TJ's getting that done. All right? All right. Okay.
That's a cool background. We need to step up our game.
we trying to be like y'all, man.
Can y'all hear us?
Yes.
Y'all can hear us just fine.
Yes. Can you hear us? Can you?
Okay. All right. So everybody, welcome Pastor Murray and Lady Andrea Duffy to Thursday Love. We're excited that y'all are here. I'm excited that y'all accepted to come because I am looking forward to hearing this story, this love story. I want to hear how it went. And because y'all life, you can see how people live on social media, but that's just a representation. But to hear how they act behind closed doors, how things happen behind closed doors, and how things really take place. Because I be loving y'all pictures. I be like psycho jealous, like for real. Like I love the one where everybody got their and so
Psycho.
I say psycho. Well, I mean like crazy jealous. Like
you didn't let me know so I can make some arrangements.
no, don't do that.
Too late now.
Yeah.
I know, right? 16 years in. Well, just about.
So yeah. So Mike, there we go. So people can start seeing the comments. There we go.
Vet said, hey, y'all. She's like, hey, APAL family.
The APAL family. Yeah. So welcome. Introduce yourselves. We don't take the time to introduce because we rather hear from you. So let's come on. Y'all introduce yourselves.
Listen, mic check. Can y'all hear us?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, top of the night to you all. Good morning to some of you all. Man, well, first of all, we want to thank Pastor TJ and Pastor Sherry for allowing us to be on your platform. You know, we definitely said, you know, man, we got to get it together, baby. This like, you know, Oprah invite you to her house. You know, we finna break bread with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Okay.
You know, so
yeah, we don't say all of the ladies. No. Lemonade. There we go.
No. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm Pastor Murray Duffy. Everybody call me MD. And this lady right here is
Andrea,
my lovely wife.
Oh, so much
the sugar in my Kool-Aid.
I'm telling you, you see it? It's just glistening.
Look, this is her. You know, she leave drizzle everywhere she goes. She sneezed diamonds.
All right now.
She gonna see you later on, man. She reward you for that statement.
Listen, you gotta know how to play the game now.
Y'all do for round 3.
Listen.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Pump your brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, but we're just happy to be here, though, man. We're just excited to be here with you all, our family, you know, and those that are tuning in. Hopefully, we can say something that'll benefit you, and hopefully, y'all don't look at us differently after this.
No.
I promise you that.
So, what's the name of your church, and where are you located?
A Place of Worship Church in Atlanta, Georgia, where our apostle is Apostle Juan F. Bellar.
Yes. Did y'all tag him? I didn't tag him.
Shout out to the APAL family.
Yeah. And full support. I don't even know if I tagged him.
Oh yeah. When y'all had us backstage, y'all were talking to us, but we couldn't talk back to you. You were saying, could y'all hear the static? And I said, yeah, it sounds like Martians or the feds trying to tap the line. You know, I was finna get up off here, you know, because them feds is cracking down. They want that stimulus back.
Not the stimulus. The stimulus.
They show now.
I tell you, it's always something. I mean, we've had a great 3 weeks, and now all of a sudden, it's a little something. We've done fine the whole time, but it's always been something. It's fine. I'm glad we can hear and we can connect. Because I haven't seen y'all in almost 2 years now. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
in person.
We've seen y'all though, you know, cutting up down there and running around and snotting all over the place and stuff and passing out, laying hands and delivering. We've seen y'all, you know, but in person, yes, you are right.
We've seen you. What's the dude name? That was a bike rider? Lance Armstrong. You the back Lance Armstrong. You and Will in the crew.
Oh, you know what? Before we get started, there's one thing I want to say. I wanted to say this. I wanted to make sure I get in front of TJ's audience to say this because he's the reason why I went bald, y'all. Yes.
What?
The Bible says, don't be a stumbling block in thy brother's way. And 3 years ago, we were at an Eagle's Nest retreat, and he was sitting behind me, and he looked at me. He said, man, how old are you? And I told him my age, and he gonna rub his head and say, oh, I guess I'm good then. And after that, I went bald. So I want to come on here because
Oh my God.
because you know the
I got power. That's all. I might get touching that and it'll grow back.
Look, the Saints be want to look. The Saints be painting these pictures that we all got it all together, but he hurt me, y'all. The church wounded me, and now I'm bald because of him.
He didn't prep me, y'all. I didn't know he was gonna say that.
Oh wow.
Cat up the bag,
Lord,
Wow.
TJ.
I'm sorry, man. I meant to do it.
He said I meant
that
to.
part.
I'm sorry.
That part.
Oh man.
Man, listen, I've been waiting for a long time to just get that off my chest.
Oh my goodness. He said before we start, let me
Before we
begin.
start, yeah. Look, I figured it's the perfect time since a lot of people have been exposed on social media. So let me go.
But look, well, you get to pay him back. If we see y'all for Holy Convocation, you can touch him and pay him back because he.
Yeah, I'm on my way out too, man. My way out too.
Oh Lord, don't you see?
He on his way.
Hey, brother. Man, I would never forget that. But no, it's all love, though, man. That is really hilarious because I was like, you know what? That's the sign that parts of your hair is going on is going on vacation, and you need to go with it. So,
Oh wow. Oh wow. So for those up here that don't know you guys, just tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us a little bit about Murray, not Pastor Murray, but Murray, and a little bit about Andrea. What's so special? What's so unique and different about you guys?
that she's able to tolerate me. Listen, it take oil. That take oil. But man, I'm just a little nobody from Watts, California, and I moved to Atlanta in 2009, rather, in the latter part of 2008, and my first job working at FedEx, I met this beautiful young lady right here from Memphis, Tennessee. As Young Buck would say, and that's all she wrote, but we just simple, man. We love hard. We are advocates of what's right, and pushing people, and all we want to do is see everybody win. You want to tell them a little bit of something about yourself?
Well.
Wow. Very good. Cool.
Thank you.
Lot,
Thank you
right?
very much. I appreciate that.
It's a lot.
No, I'm just playing. I don't know. I'm from Memphis. I love this man sitting right here. Yeah, that was for you.
I told y'all round 3.
That just means stop. So whenever I do like this, that's
Hey,
what I'm saying.
Murray told you I got power. See?
She looking like your power got blocked. Your power stopped.
Come on Facebook. Surprise! Look who's coming.
Man, I love the Lord. I love my church family. I love our family that we have together. And yeah, I love God's people. I really don't have a lot to say unless the spirit just moves, and then I'll get to yapping and kind of get carried away. But my best time to talk is when it's time to go to bed. And so,
well, you really got to talk, do you? I mean, you can say the words.
Oh, yeah,
that time.
That's when I be ready to talk, and he be ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's this right here, y'all. Look, I'm gonna repent, Lord. I'm repent. I have that's what Sherry do. Sherry, we have all day. Like we get off work, we have all day, and then sometime in my room doing homework or whatever. And we get in bed, and she talks. She does. And one night, man, and I'm sorry, I apologize publicly.
He went to sleep on me.
She was talking, and I know I heard God said, "Wake up." He said, "No." He said, "Sit up." He said, "Because you about to go to sleep." And next thing I know, The next day she sent me a text. She's like, you fell asleep with me last night. It was, my sleep was so good. I didn't even remember she was talking. So yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
It was good though.
Yeah.
I apologize.
It's something about those late night conversations when you already didn't had a long day like today. So I hope she don't get stirred up after this. I hope it comes out while we're on this broadcast. So after this,
you know how he slid that in there.
Hey, you notice how I just laughed, right?
So you said y'all met at work. Y'all met at work. So how did that look? How did that connection look?
So we have two different stories. I'm gonna tell. It's always better if I tell mine first because when she tells hers, I gotta really look at her. So it was my first job here in Atlanta, and we were working at FedEx. It was a temp agency, one day I was standing in line, and my buddy who I transitioned here with, G Smooth, he was standing over there with her and another young lady. They were talking because we were waiting on our checks. Oh, but yeah, we were talking and we were waiting on our checks and whatnot. And so I went, I saw her. It was just like, it was kind of like, I was just like, man, when Jacob saw Rachel, I just, and I synced it at her. And I went over there.
Leah.
hey people but there was some Leahs around, but they couldn't get my attention. And so I butted in the conversation because my buddy was in it. So I was like, oh, that's my opportunity, to butt right on in. But it's funny because upon moving here, I was like, man, God, I just want to focus. And I wasn't trying to be, on none of that. I was trying to just really get myself together. I was like, I don't want know anything. And I really was going through a detox and what's something to break your focus, but it was the perfect thing to break my focus. And I butted into the conversation, and then it went from all four of us talking to just the two of us talking. We had shared a commonality in terms of education. She was teaching in school district, and I was tutoring and mentoring kids before I left home. And then it went from there to me telling her how, I do R&B, and I'm pursuing my career in R&B and whatnot. And then the conversation went there then we went outside, and I let her hear some of my music. She's like, oh, people tell you they can sing. You be like, everybody got a CD. So I let her hear some of my cuts. I let her hear some of my cuts. You know what I'm saying? I had to let her hear some of the, ooh, yeah.
Okay now.
I let her hear a little bit of something. The boy wasn't always singing "Blessed Assurance" now.
Right.
Jesus is mine.
Right? Look. And then it went from there to us.
What note was that?
Who? What happened?
I just said.
I was like, go ahead.
You got to listen. So it went from there to.
What was that? It's a Michael Jackson.
But it went from there to us eventually going to sit down at Denny's. It was like 6 a.m. That was the time we normally would get off work, and having some coffee and some breakfast and talking, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, so I don't remember the story quite that way.
So what's your version, sweetie? What's your version?
I was having so bits and pieces of his story are true. Well, I don't want to say true, is what I recall. Okay.
That part.
I was in the middle of a conversation with some people, and this person just walked up and joined the conversation out of nowhere. I don't know where he came from. He just walked up in the middle of the three of us standing there talking, and I just thought that was so rude. Who are you? Where did you come from? That was my first impression. Like, who is you?
Right.
But
see, and I thought I was invited. I felt it was you was, go ahead, tell your story. Like I said, now it's my turn. Look at her.
That's not how it happened, because he can talk, right?
No, not really.
Talk.
No, can I?
Yeah,
no,
baby.
No, not really. No.
But see,
right now.
But he walked up, and I was trying to figure out who he was and where he came from. He didn't address any like specific person. He just started talking, and I didn't know where he came from. So I just thought that was rude and strange. So I saw him again on a separate day. And when we were standing in line to, you know, get our checks or whatever. And when he turned around, I said, "Oh, that's that rude guy."
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he started talking to me. He just started
just
talking.
Keep that sound. We're gonna just plug that.
Yeah. That's a sound bite tonight.
Sound bite.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
But he just, you're welcome. That was for free too. You can have that. But when I seen him when I seen him in line to get the checks, he just started talking to me, and it was very weird because my first impression was, you know, this person is weird, this person is rude, where he come from. But when he started talking to me, it was as if he knew me for like 20 years. You know, this was our, I guess, first time officially meeting because we weren't introduced the first time. And then
everybody's family. Everybody's family.
Thank you. He was on cue. See, look, this finna go viral now. We pronounce viral all over this broadcast. I don't know who the viral gods are, but you hear this.
But anyway, I just really liked how he was talking to me. And now that I think back on it, did you plan that? Look at her face. It's coming full circle now that I'm talking about it out loud.
It's funny. Before we did this, when you was briefing us backstage, you said, "Yeah, you guys can tell your story," and I said, "Baby, what's our story?" And I said, "Well, I guess we're gonna find out." And so this is, for those of y'all that are watching, this is real time. This is
off the press, breaking news. That's what I'm talking about.
But watch this. Let me break it down spiritually for you. Isn't it amazing how something so rude can wind up to be so wonderful for your future? Oh, Lord. My God.
Yeah.
Won't he do it? If somebody ought to tap your neighbor in the comments and say,
Really? Did you tap me?
You see in the comments.
Oh man. But yeah, so that's how I remember it. And one of the things that stand out to me and that I'll never forget is, you know, this is a complete stranger, right? And he's talking to me, telling me, "Yeah, my wife is going to be my best friend, and we're going to live in a house and have kids and a white picket fence." And people just don't have those kind of conversations the first time you meet them, you know?
And most guys don't. You hear that. Normally you hear that from women. You don't hear that from men.
Well, the Bible does say that a man that find out the wife find out the good thing.
Well,
Really?
And not only that, but he obtained favor. So you were the reason why he has favor. So he knew what he wanted because God had showed him.
Really?
Well,
That's a serious moment.
well.
I have those moments from time to time.
Oh Lord. Time to time.
Time to time.
But yeah, that'll always stick out to me because I wasn't on that. I wasn't on some let's get married and have kids. I just mentally I was not there.
So you were just living your life, just single. So you wasn't looking. So Murray, you always wanted to get married. Was that something, a desire of yours?
So if there are not many things that I definitively know that I want or I'm called to do or to be, but marriage and children, I always knew that was like an assignment of mine, to be married and to have children, but not just to be married, not only to have children, but to really reconstruct the family. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I don't come from that. I have 13 brothers and sisters, you know, 7 boys and 6 girls. I never saw I've never saw a happy marriage. I've never known a man who had all of his children for one woman. And so, but even as a young child, I just knew that I was supposed to have something to do with nurturing that, birthing that, and cultivating that, you know, and so yeah, I knew what I wanted my children's names to be, like early on, you know, like and whatnot. And so didn't understand it. Like you said, if you ask me if did I know I was gonna be a pastor, I'd be like, no, I'm still figuring that out, but it's like it's some things like when it comes to being a husband, being a father, those are things that were like embedded in me at a young age, and even the way I conducted myself in relationships. Some of them didn't work is because people were trying to date me and I was looking for marriage. I was like, I'm not here to play, and it's like, yeah, but you can't do that to a 14-year-old. We just now starting to party and twerk until it wasn't called twerking then. It was butterfly and Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just now having fun, But so yeah, but oh Lord.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, y'all. We're different ages. I'm sorry.
Listen, that's what that sound effect is for. When something goes, something. But yes, so upon meeting her, like I said, for me to come here with such a tunnel vision, I had stopped clubbing. I had stopped, chasing girls and stuff like that. And I was like, God, I just need you to do something with me and whatnot. And for her to be the one, even in spite of, she would tell you, I was surrounded by him, especially when they found out I could sing. And I was a new kid to the town. Oh, he fresh, and whatnot. But
fresh meat.
But I was focused, and she was the one that broke that broke my sight that day. And the rest is history.
So Mary, I have a question to ask you, man. So when you first saw Andrea, did you see it from the front or from the back?
Oh Lord.
When I first saw, and watch this, and this gonna sound cliche. When I first saw her, she was facing away from me, and so the first thing I saw, watch this, TJ, listen to this, because this is the prophetic word. The first thing I saw was the gluteus maximus in all of its glory. In all of its glory.
Thank you. It is something about the back. See, when the woman got healed, she touched Jesus's garment. Jesus was turned around toward the multitude. That's what I'm talking about. You are every couple except once.
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
It's like, but every man that met his wife, he saw her from the back. And the first two went into church looking for Jesus and found something else, but they saw her from the back. Because that's how I was with Sherry. I saw her from the left, from the right, from the middle, but it was all from the back.
I mean,
there's something about the back side.
Funny. I'll never forget. She had her hands folded and she was catacornered, and she had a hair. She used to wear this little like a beanie, but she had her hair pressed, and I actually thought it was her because this is her hair, like she has long hair like down her back, but it was a weave, but it was it fit her, and so I was like, oh, she got long hair. I was like, oh my goodness, and I was like, I got to slide up in this conversation and see what's going on over here.
So you won't invite it. So you won't invite it.
Well, see, I never said I was invited. I thought that upon me coming over, I thought that I was received. but apparently to her, I wasn't even received, and so thank God for persistence, I guess, because you probably
So
y'all have a conversation. You mean to tell me I was tell me you didn't tell me before that? All right, I got you.
Look, no, we is not gonna let Thursday Love break us up.
Y'all still gotta make it to Friday.
Lord Jesus. So Lady Andrea, so what was dating Murray like? Because and then after that, what was the turning point? Because you said he started out being so serious and you weren't there yet. So what was dating him like? And then what was the turning point to say, okay, this might be serious?
That's what I'm talking about, boy.
That's a good. Ask them questions. Come on, Oprah.
Man,
so you talking tonight, girl? Yes. Yes.
Man, I ain't never talked that much before.
No. I guess with Murray, it was a friendship. We were building a friendship, and then another thing with Murray is when we first met is I had just got back into the church. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of me dealing with me at the time that I met him. And it was a lot of, him dealing with himself. So it was a lot of me killing the stuff that was that I was struggling with, that I was fighting with. So
Right.
I'm sorry, baby. I got to be honest, you know.
Tell
In the beginning
truth.
of
Tell your truth, boo boo.
thank you. So in the beginning of our relationship, it was a little bit of a struggle because we both were dealing with, you know, fighting our own demons and then trying to date each other. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was a little bit of a struggle, but we fought through it. Because there was a love there, and it was a love that I couldn't explain at the time, and a love that I didn't understand at the time because he knew what he wanted, and I was still trying to figure it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
But it worked out, and here we are.
Lord. I add another soundbite on to it.
But with that, so dating and y'all trying to figure each other out and fighting your demons, as you say, what was like the turning point then to say, okay, this is serious, this is going somewhere? What did that look like for you? How did that change, that perception change for you? How do you view him then?
To be honest, I don't really think it was really him. I think it was God gave me instructions, right?
Okay.
And God said basically to me, I trust you with him.
Wow.
And
Cargo.
me being who I am, it was, all right, God, I don't want to let you down. So I'm going to do what's needed and what is expected of me from you to ensure that he's good. And I think by me doing that, in turn, made it to where I was good. So we were good. Because when he came to the city, he had his mind made up on what he wanted and what he didn't want, right? And one of those things that he explained to me was he wanted to be celibate. So we dated for 5.5 years.
Wow.
In celibacy.
Wow.
And I wasn't celibate before I met him. You know, I wasn't out there, but that wasn't something that I practiced. You understand what I'm saying? So when he brought it to the table, it's a funny story because one day we were on the phone when he was on his lunch break, and he said, "It's something really serious that I want to talk to you about."
He like, yeah, I remember that now.
And I was like, well, go ahead and talk to me about it now. And his response was, well, my break is up. My lunch is up. So I got to go back to work. So it was a cliffhanger and I was mad.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah.
What is this? So in my mind, the way I processed it was there has to be 1,000,001 things that he could possibly tell me. And I'm gonna be honest, it was okay, he must be married, or he must got 3 kids, 5 kids, or something. He must got some sort of disease. He must got, I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it was just the worst possible scenarios that I was trying to work through.
Right.
And in my mind, it was okay, well, what am I going to accept? If he tells me this, will I accept it? If he tells me that, will I accept it? So the list was long and everything was, I will not accept that. Right. So when he calls me back later and I say, okay, well, what is it? He says, I'm celibate. My response was, that's it? Because that never crossed my mind, you know?
They got all those scenarios.
Messed up your whole scenario.
Messed me up. But that wasn't something that I said I wouldn't tolerate. So I agreed to it.
Okay.
And after that, it was God saying, I trust you with him. Wow. So I understood my assignment when it came to him, you know, so, and here we are.
And here we are. But I mean, that's interesting because we did have a couple up here 2 weeks ago. They were virgins until they got married. So they dated for 3 years.
3 years.
They dated for like 3.5 years, and they were virgins when they got married. So it's even good because we talked about how rare that is. You don't hear that anymore. And so,
and not only that, but they had accountability partners where when they felt like they were about to slip, you know, their partners would say, hey, you know, you guys need to. But the thing I've always noticed is, you know, like I'm usually in the front. Murray, you're in the front. But I always say, man, for every strong man, that woman that's with him is stronger. She is the reason why he is able to do the things that he's able to do. Because I was talking to Sherry a few days ago about the power of a woman. The woman has so much power. A woman can do so much without saying a word. Like the strength, the power, the understanding, the clarity that she has. Like you said, that God said, you know, he trusts you with him. You know, that was just your assignment. But yeah, the power of a woman to me is so magnificent. I mean, it's really why I believe the enemy fights, you know, has done the things, especially the way the world is set up, even from the Bible days, you know, the way that women were suppressed, so forth and so on, because a woman has so much power and so much, not just the power, but power of influence. You know what I'm saying? She can make us do stuff that we didn't even know we were doing until after we did it. She just sit there just smiling like, yeah, I got you. She can cook a meal and get you in the palm of her hand, and you just eating. Don't know that you eat. I mean, they just. And what it is thank God that we have women who use their influence godly. You know what I'm saying? Because we could have had a female where they use their their influence for Satan. You know what I'm saying? Because women have that power; they can go either way. But thank God that you guys use your power, your influence to see us, to push us to that next level, because that is so important to not have to worry. It's just so important.
So what does the proposal and marriage starts to look like here? Mary, when did you know the time was right?
After he told her he was celibate.
so
He was a little bit either.
listen. It's funny because and I don't know if she remembered this, but my heart was beating when I was gonna tell her I was celibate, because I'm like, come on now, man, ain't nobody in their 20s trying to, this is your prime years, ain't nobody trying to, what I'm saying, trying to put the cap on the cookie jar, right? But I just knew what I wanted, and I knew what I was destined for, and I was so destined that I wasn't desperate for it. And so I was willing to do whatever I had to do. Like, I knew I was destined, but I wasn't desperate. And I knew what I had to do to preserve what would become of my legacy, what would become of the children that we would birth. I knew that it was important for her to be healed from all her generational curses.
Yes.
It was important for me to be healed, because a lot of times we know what we want, but we still not healed. We're not whole. And so a lot of times I tell people, I say, I don't believe that everybody's story has to go through a 5-year celibacy period, but it depends on how large your future is. Right. It depends on how much stuff God has to break down. And so he used her, TJ, you touched on it. He used her to come and be a pillar and be an anchor. Right. And to be someone that would say like that. No, I got you. Right. She's never been the reason why I have fallen, and she won't be the reason why I ever fall, because she's always been the reason why I want to stand, and I want to, she's always holding me up. And TJ, just to say something to what you said they've always, been suppressed when it should have been the opposite. When they don't use their power for negative purposes or for to tear a man down, it's our job then to make sure we turn around and give them their roses. Right. It's our job to make sure that we realize that they didn't come out of the bottom of our foot, they came out of our rib. Right.
We came out of them.
And then we came out of them. Right. And so, when we really talk about who's above who, it's like, well, you couldn't even be. And so, but that's important. And so when I told her that I wanted to be celibate, and my heart was beating, because like, man, Lord, she gonna be like, I'm good. And I had already, taken a liking to her at this point. But when she agreed, I knew then. But I did it. I put her through a test. I called her one day. I told my buddy Chubb, I was working at AirTran. And I said, Chubb, I'm gonna call her and I'm gonna tell her that, that I don't, I didn't graduate from high school or something like that. And so I called her and I was like, I want to just tell you that I didn't graduate from high school, and she's like, well, hold on, I thought you were just telling me you was gonna go to college and stuff. I said, well, yeah, I thought I can't just check myself in, and she was like, no, and we over the phone, and she like, no, you can't just check it. I said, yeah, I didn't graduate, or whatnot. And so and she hung up the phone, and I could tell Sherry that she was like distraught. Oh my God, like she was like, I didn't fail for him and he's stupid, look, he woke-ish, right? He still sleeps some. So she hangs up the phone And then I call her back 15 minutes later and watch this, TJ. Watch this, Sherry. Watch this for those that are watching. One thing I believe about when you know you're after something and when you're destined for something, you got to know how to look for seeds. You got to look for seeds. You got to look for those Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs to let you know you're on track. I called her back and I said, now she sounds so sad. She sounds sad. And I said, what you doing? And she said, I'm online looking for you GED programs.
Wow.
Wow.
So here's the thing with that. Because, yeah.
That's a yeah.
That and no judgment, right? But for me personally, that was a deal breaker. That was just a deal breaker.
Right.
But it meant so much to me. And my heart sunk because I said, this is it, God. Because she's not willing to throw me away.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not so into me that she doesn't want more for me.
Right.
So I looked those classes up and I said, next time when he called me back, I'm going to tell him what I found. If he does it, I'll stick it out. If he declines, I'm moving on.
Maybe moving on. Yeah.
And I think the thing is, as we talk about suppressing women, like you said, woman came from the rib of man. And then because of Adam and what he did, man comes. So we both come from one another. So
right.
We need each other. You know what I'm saying?
We need
I
each
can't
other.
do it. I mean, yeah, we can say I can do it, but I'd rather do it. And it is so much easier to do it with Sherry than to have to do it by myself. That's why it amazes me, like I said, when men and society try to suppress women. You came from her. You know what I'm saying? You last time I checked, you came from your mama. You know what I'm saying? You didn't come from your father. So just the power of the power of a woman, and you know, and for you, Andrew, to know that assignment was so important that she was willing to push you to be the very best that you can, so that really y'all could be together because she was about to leave. So that
and watch this. For the record, I did graduate high school, and I even started to go to college, and then I dropped out of college because my R&B career was taking off. But that was just a test for me to see what type of woman did I have. Like you said, I saw her from the back, but I needed to discern her from the front.
But who
from the inside out. I needed to know what was in there, because we don't do that a lot of times. What's on outside is enough for us to say, yeah, God told us to be together. No. I needed more. I needed depth.
Yeah. And that's understandable, because that's what the past few couples, they talked about that. They talked about where there was a defining point that says, oh yeah, I'm going to keep her. All right. Yeah. The woman was like, yeah, I'm going to stick this through, because something was tested. Something was thrown out there that says, because even for the Saps, they said that. Well, TJ even did. I don't like the story, but even TJ did that to me. The story that we have, I don't like it.
Mine was different, man. So my father told me, he said, look, he said, the way the world is now, he said, you don't need to marry no woman who can put her hands on you. He said, because you can't put your hands on her. He said, now I ain't telling whoever watches, I'm not telling you to do this, because you might be single. You might not have your wife to go look up no classes on the internet. So he told me, he said, what you got to do is, he said, you got to make her mad. He said, you got to make her to extreme. He said, if she haul off and she hit you, you leave her where she is. He said, but if she don't hit you, he said, marry her. So what I said,
and that's some type of advice.
And I said, well, if I do it at home, at her house, it doesn't have any effect. So what I did was I waited until we went to Norfolk, Virginia. And so, because my brother was getting married, and so we got there. I grew up in church, so we didn't do the cussing and stuff. And so I kept calling her a butthole. Now, the way Sherry grew up, when you calling them a butthole, you going straight street. So you can imagine those lyrical words.
Because I didn't grow up in church.
Yeah. So when I kept calling her, she kept getting mad and madder and madder. And then she drew back. She looked me in the face. She was like, she got out of the car and slammed the door. I said, she's a keeper. My boy said, you know you were wrong, right? I said, yeah, but I had to test her. And also, she knew if she had to hit me, I was going to leave her butt in Norfolk, Virginia.
I would have found a way home.
Whatever. But
I know you would have.
I sure would have.
I would advise him how to do that.
Yeah.
But she ain't put her hands on me. But you did bite my finger. You did do that. You bit my finger.
All right, we're gonna talk about the Duffy's
Hey, your daddy didn't say if they bite you. He said if they call up and hit you.
Yeah, right. She bit me, she hit me. You bit me, but you didn't hit me.
So how does so we're moving forward to like the proposal and marriage. like I think that's what I asked earlier. How did you know that this was the time now? We y'all done dated for 5 years or whatever. How did you know it was the time to propose?
I felt like I had grown. So when I met her, I was 21. And the one thing like I said, I knew I was destined, but I wasn't desperate. And so a lot of times we get things that God does have for us, but we're not prepared to go through the storm.
Right.
I always tell people, a lot of people I think were meant to be, but they got together post, pre-storm. If they had got together post-storm, you know what I'm saying, or midway through, then they would have seen that, we actually can do this. And so I felt like I had grown. We had went through stuff where people tried to tear us apart. We had gone through stuff where she was ready to leave. I was ready to leave. We had gone through stuff, and I was like, God, if you can put us through all of this and we still standing, we still here, in spite of what people say, in spite of the seeds that have been sown, and we would get together and assess the things that were happening. Like, what, and I realized, that this is God's. And so, so 2013, I felt like God gave me the blessing to like go forward with it, and I wanted to do it on my birthday, like as a gift to me. What better gift than to,
you were his gift.
I want, and so, but that's what led me. I saw the maturity in her. I saw the staying power in her, and her willingness to still see value in me, even after all that we had been through, and so I was like, okay, now it's time.
Right.
So,
Right.
And I think that's when the communication is so important, because like I met Sherry again when we started dating when we was 21. And so we literally have been together. Literally, we have been together half of our life.
Yeah.
Well, actually, for me, it's over half of my life. Well, yeah, for me, it's over half. For Sherry, is half. But and it's amazing how you said people have lied, because there were some instances that happened when we were younger. Yeah. And I told something was like, well, it was God. I don't know something. God was like, come clean with her, because somebody's going to try to come and twist that thing around. And so the night before, I came clean and I told her, what was what. And so the very next day, kid you not, the very next day, someone came up to her and tried to switch the situation. And she laid them out, because I had already told them what was what. You know what I'm saying? That communication. And even now, I mean, this should be 16 years old. Yeah, I mean, 16 years. Yeah. And we've even had people as recently as 15 years lie on us. You know what I'm saying? But the communication that we had with one another, we knew something was up. So that junk never stops. There's always some devil to try to destroy your marriage, because that's his job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The thing is that you keep that communication and you're honest with one another. You know what I'm saying? They can never catch you unaware, because it's like, no, I saw you coming. You know what I'm saying? So that that's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah, yeah. So the love story has taken place. The marriage bliss is here. Now, where does the call to pastoring fit in all this? How does your assignment to God fit into this newfound ministry? Y'all married and everything.
So it's funny, because a lot of times, like she was saying earlier, you have to sit back and rewind it, like, wow, that's what you were doing. You were doing that the whole time. A lot of times, the one thing that we don't understand about ministry is that it was something that we were doing every day anyway. And so the years when we were dating, when we were walking through celibacy, when we were learning to build from within, God was building the ministry inside of me, teaching me how to love her. What is it? What is the theme? Loving me, loving you, loving us. Right?
Thank you. You got to pay for that.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, we got.
Wait, hold up! I gave you some free. Hold up!
I thought we was trading. I'm joking. Trade off.
I don't see what Andrew was saying. We got to pay for that, but
I got your back, baby.
That's
what But the whole time, God was teaching me ministry, which was the first ministry, which was how to love myself, and then how to love and have a family. Right? Yeah. He was teaching me total wholeness, which are essential if you're gonna be a leader. Right? Yeah. If you're gonna lead, especially lead people, lead broken people. There were seasons I had to walk with her through. Watch out, Mac. I'm sorry, y'all.
Man,
my
you know
dog
what?
is in here.
I thought it was our dog making that noise because the mic we got everything. But now that you said that, and I was like, I know they ain't doing it because they on camera. So I got it.
Yeah, that's my even. But so what happened was I was an R&B singer, mind you. For 17 years, and I had was working on an album and whatnot, and I was the more and more that I was here in Atlanta, I was armor bearing my father, singing praise and worship in the church and things of that nature. But I ain't gonna play with you now, God. I'm just giving my gift back to you. You know what I'm saying? Falling more and more in love with God. But I started watching him take the taste for R&B out of my mouth. I started watching him clean up my lyrics, whereas I would be more explicit and vulgar. And a lot of my content, I was like, oh, I don't want to say that. I started watching the things that I used to enjoy. Like now I got to hear the clean version. So when I hear the dirty version, I'm like, oh, that song say that, And so
right.
He was taking the taste out of my mouth while all the while grooming me. And so literally we had I had ministered before times when my father had fallen sick, and he had me to minister, and I ministered for like 3 months, whatnot. And times we go on the road and I sing into people that would fall under the glory. And so all of this was cultivating me. And unbeknownst to me, we had a men's conference that had taken place, and the preacher called out, and my father was like, you can do it. And I was like, you sure you want me to do it? And I took I said, okay, I'll do it. And I got up and I preached the message. And I remember preaching till I almost just basically closed my eyes and the room went dark. And when I opened my eyes, everybody was on their knees in tears and worshiping God. And the glory had fell in such a way. And my father had told me, he said, God said, you're going to have to take these people to the next place. And 34 days after we were married, I renounced the secular career and the secular industry to tell God yes. Now I've already given him a yes, but now yes to totally doing your will and what it is that you are calling me to do. And here's how I knew everything fit. At my ordination, a young pastor by the name of TJ Crooms, he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, you've already been walking in your ministry. He said, all you got to do is don't try to change the church, but make sure home is together. And when home is together, everyone's going to line up behind you because they're going to see you living what you're teaching and preaching. And so it just went hand in hand. And then we started walking that thing out.
Yeah, it brings light to that scripture that says, charity begins at home and spreads abroad.
And
I'm a believer that if your home is in shambles, everybody gonna know, because that's
a reflection of you.
I'm talking about the power of a woman. That woman is going. If people want to know how your household is, look at that woman. That's gonna let you know if you are living what you're preaching, because they're gonna tell on you without telling on you. It's just I'm telling you, it's just the innate power that a female, a wife has. They just have that power. If she's smiling, you doing your thing. If she ain't smiling, get out that pulpit, go home and do some things. But y'all got kids to show that that she's smiling. So I have a question, Andre. I'm gonna call you Andre, even though it's Andrea.
Wait a minute, what is the correct pronunciation? Because so many people change it. So what is it?
It's Andrea.
It's Andrea.
Andrea sounds so French.
Okay.
It's like Andrea. So how do you, as a wife, how do you juggle the fact that Mary is he's busy with everything? Like, how do you juggle, him being a pastor, him being, Lance Armstrong, him having a career and, music, just how do you juggle that, as being the wife?
Because he's an extreme extrovert. Just from what I see, he's an extreme extrovert.
He's not an extrovert.
You know what I'm trying to say. He's always outgoing. He's always outspoken. And I guess that's the thing. How do you handle that?
You took my question.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask something similar to it, and you took mine. Okay,
I did, so you just
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, we have a Google Calendar that's synced, right? That's first and foremost, because man,
communication and balance.
He's always got something going on, but I don't know. We just mesh. We just flow. I ask him if he need anything, and if he needs something, I make sure it's taken care of.
That helped me.
Right, and that's go ahead.
You know, one thing that I admire about her is she's never been in competition with what I'm called to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
From
awesome.
R&B to talk shows to acting. And what people don't know is people give me a lot of kudos and they're like, man, you doing this, you doing that. But TJ, you said it earlier. You don't know who rolling the camera for me.
Right.
You don't know who got the script, who making sure the extras are in place, who's adjusting the lighting, who's I'm talking about when God give me a business idea, she's my biggest fan. She's the biggest supporter. She gonna sow the first. Let me tell you something. For a woman to sow a seed into her husband, like she seeds into me. Like not just, oh baby, go ahead, I see you over there. No, she seeds into me. You know what I'm saying? And so she's never been in competition with who I am and who I'm called to be. And I admire her for being so secure as a woman, you know, to be able to take it, because you got to mind you, before ministry, I was off and on of R&B stages and secular stages, you know, acting and starring in major stage plays in Atlanta and singing in clubs and stuff. And she'll be standing just on the wall, just, you know, just to see the performance, and then she'll leave or you know, whatnot. But even now in ministry, she gonna stand there. She gonna make sure I got what I need. If I didn't sweat it out my clothes, by the time I get off the pulpit, she done went across the street to the Dollar General to get me some more clothes. Cause she said,
Dollar General to get you some clothes.
If that's what's across the street from the store, you know, for now, listen, you know, listen, hey,
make that thing work.
Got it. But
she got some scissors and thread. I'm gonna cut
I promise you, man. And she be like, you need to change because you wet from the top to the bottom. But she's never been in competition, and she's always been secure in who she is as a woman. And that's one thing I admire, because people see me going, but my home team is on point. My home team is cold, you know, like I'm just the face, you know, but I'm talking about she's the engine that's making it, you know, work. You know, if she's the heart, I'm the engine, or if I'm the heart, she's the engine. But it flows together, and I really do appreciate God for that, because ministry, I do, baby. Ministry,
look at that.
Ministry for look. Ministry for her hasn't always been the easiest, because of the things that she's seen in terms of how leaders are treated, right? And so it automatically make her do this. But she's never apprehended me or made me stumble in any way, even if it's something she don't understand. You know, we'll talk about it, we'll work through it. But I thank God for her security. And I don't know if she knew that was a superpower of hers, but I have a real live Avenger, y'all, that I'm married to.
Right. But that's what I was going to ask, because most women are not secure in that. They don't, especially if they have a husband or a man that's out there in the scene, they're in the limelight, their face has always been seen. So have you always been that way? Have you always been secure and confident in the fact of him always being out and you're behind the scenes? Is that just who you are as a woman? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, some women are very insecure. They start seeing other girls holler and scream, whether it be a musician in the church, a pastor in the church, or even on a secular stage. Whether if he's a pastor in the church.
Listen.
I'm trying to ask the question.
Don't bite him, Sherry. Don't bite
him. What? Stop. But yeah, you know, because to me that is a superpower. That is a strength in itself, because some women can't handle that. So that's what I'm saying. Have you always been that way, or that's something you have built to because you knew he was being called to being a pastor? You knew he was always in the limelight, you know?
I want to say that that's always been me. Like, that is me. I know who I am, if that makes sense.
Right.
I also know I'm real strong-minded, and I know what I will and what I won't tolerate. I know what's acceptable. I know what's not. You know, my mama did steer me right as far as that is concerned, because that's who my mom is, you know, so that's what I grew up seeing. I think that I displayed those qualities when we first met. Because
she said you were rude.
But let me tell you something though, those women at that job, they were all over him. Wow. I mean, I have never seen nothing like that before in real life.
A lot of them had a lot of bottled water. They were thirsty.
Man, if that's what we're gonna call it.
Thirsty.
They were everywhere.
They were
But
anniversary.
it was just, I know who I am, you know.
Right.
But I also have to give kudos to, you know, my mom. She's in my ear still to this day, you know, champion me. I don't know how you say it,
Championing.
Yeah, that word. Reminding me who I am. I do have my father-in-law that has seen a lot, you know, in ministry. That's always, what's the word? Say it,
Champion.
that word. He's always doing that.
Teamwork. It's your dream work.
And then I have the mothers in my church that'll always, you know, say something to me. Mama Mac will always say something to me. You know, just like encouraging me, even though they, you know, they may not see anything or feel that I feel less than or anything, but just those words of encouragement. And then also, he's never made me feel like I have anything to worry about.
It's always important.
Yeah.
You gotta make her feel secure. Yeah. It's always important.
Yeah. So now, would you consider yourself an introvert, Andrea?
Nah.
Would you? No. You just like just being who you are, cool, reserved, behind the scenes. Right.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. So
I'm a watchman, whatever.
Watchman on the
wall,
wall,
on the floor,
so,
on the table, in it, just a watchman.
So Murray, that was fine.
That's me.
That was fine for you, because some people, you know, when they're out there like that, they want a ride or die that can go just as hard and out there. But for you, that was fine. That she still was a ride or die, but she was just behind the scenes.
Yeah, I needed my balance.
Okay,
I needed balance. Like, I had come from the world where, you know, you dating people and we clubbing. I didn't want nobody in the club. I didn't want somebody that needed, you know, just as much, because I didn't need that you need attention to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, or you're in competition with what I'm assigned to do. Like, I wanted a secure woman that would be my balance. And when I say opposites attract, that part I had no control over. You know, because as we started to talk and converse, after we got past me being rude, you know, after we got past that, you know, right? After we got past that, you know, just what was happening between us and what God was doing, you know, and whatnot. I never forget bringing her to church one day, and I said, you know, I need my sisters at the church, because I didn't have none of my blood family here. But I said, you know, my sisters, I said, I need them to, you know, check you out. And I brought them to the church, and everybody liked her. And my pops was like, yeah, keep her. She's a good one. You know what I'm saying? And I just, you know, like, you know what you feel, but I thank God for having people around me that you could bring, you know, that wasn't going to, like, if she really wasn't the one, they'd be like, oh yeah, she fine. But somebody that would see deeper and see past that and be able to see, like, you know what, she'll be a good one for you. And I thank God for that.
Yeah, for me, it was my grandfather, because my grandfather, he could look at, he would joke with you, he would cut it with you, but he can look at, I don't care if female or male, he can look at them and say, okay, no, you need to let them go. Because the thing is, like, my granddaddy, he chocolate dark skinned, six some foot tall man. He didn't like dark skinned women. He liked brown skin and light skinned women. And so every girl that I had, I would take them down to see my granddaddy. You know, everybody, I ain't taking them down because granddaddy. I was like, y'all crazy. You got a man here who got wisdom, who can see if that chick is worth being with, and you won't take him there. So every girl I took down there, man, he wouldn't tell me, but he would tell my father, no, she ain't no count. You need to let her go. One of the girls, he told me, he said, her granddaddy ain't no count, her grandma ain't no count, her mama ain't no count, and she ain't gonna be no count. And I kid you not, that joker to this day, he was right. He's gone, bless his heart. But when I took Sherry down there, man, he looked at Sherry, and they sat there and talked like she had been knowing him. He had been knowing her for her whole life. And after we left, he told my daddy, he said, now, I don't do well with dark-skinned women. He said, but that girl he got right there, she's a good one. He said, she need to keep her. He need to marry her. I said, check. That's all I needed. He told me that. He told me that in December. I proposed to Sherry in January, and he passed in February.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got that approval, and he was right. She's a good one.
A good one.
A good one.
A good one.
Don't y'all say that in Tennessee, Angie?
Yeah, we do. Good.
A good one.
A good one.
So being a first lady, were you ready to step in that role, or how does that transition looks for you?
We still transitioning.
Amen.
Talk your truth.
Yeah, I mean, because I can simply say that when TJ was a musician, I was fine with him being a musician. Now it was hard for me. I didn't want to compete with him. Don't you laugh.
It wasn't me with them chicks. He was mad. He was mad at.
But because in my world, I didn't grow up in church, but I played sports. And so I was always involved in sports, and that was the highlight of my life. And so, but when I came into his world, because I always say his world, when I came into his world or the church world, I was back on. It's like I was back on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the starting point guard anymore. I'm back on the bench. And so he was the musician, and he was getting the attention or whatever. And so it was a hard pill of transitioning with that. But then when he was called to pastor, I was like, well, I ain't gonna be nobody first lady. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't want to be nobody first lady. I'm still trying to get myself together. I'm trying to get me together. And so it is a transition in itself. I can say that. And so I wasn't looking forward to that. I think I could handle him being a musician, but when he was called to pastor, I realized that even though it is about him, it wasn't just about him. It was also a team effort that we had to take care of. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And even if I want people to call me lady, like that, you know what I'm saying? So just call me Terry and let's keep it moving. Can't work. So, but you can't do that. But I know it was something for me.
And see, my thing is too, my goal is to make sure that she always has a voice. Sure. Always. Like, I won't be one of those men. I don't want you to preach today, because my thing is, man, God has called her to just as a powerful assignment as he has me. And Sherry does have a word. When she that chick tap in, she's in there. You know what I'm saying? You can't bat that thing. If she tells you something, whether you want to hear it or not, you can take that thing to the bank. You might not cash it, but it's gonna be true. You know what I'm saying? And when she goes in, she's in. You know what I'm saying? And she has a word. So my thing is, I mean, because you see it a lot of times in church where the husband and the wife are competing against each other. You know what? I don't want that. It's not. No, it's not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Because she has an assignment. I have an assignment. My job is to make sure that she does her assignment. Vice versa. Her job is to make sure that I'm on my assignment. You know what I'm saying? We are to be championing for one another.
That's it. But you know that that's important that you said too. You know, making sure that she has a voice. But I think for those first ladies out there, or women who are married to pastors, because sometimes you don't consider yourself a first lady. There's so much when it comes to tradition and how we're supposed to be. And a lot of times nobody really brief you on what the rules are. And so the first thing that you got to remember is that you're married to that husband, and that husband is married to that wife, right? You know, and your first ministry is to one another, you know, and sometimes he might be calling the husband more strongly, or he might be calling the wife more strongly. And sometimes he might call you up together, right? But be patient in that, allowing, because that's something that we had to learn. Like, you know, as God was elevating me, you know, it was like, well, come on, baby, you got to do more. You got to do this. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And God dealt with me. He was like, listen, she is powerful. She is anointed, but she's just as anointed behind the scenes until I'm ready, until I the fullness of me have come, and she breaks loose. Because no matter what we want for someone, they've got to still give that. They've got to accept it, right? Just like I had to accept it. And once I was able to let go of that and say, you know what, let me not let this church stuff trip us up and make me think that you got to be, every time I'm somewhere preaching, you got to be there. And no, my wife ain't coming today. You know, matter of fact, and she ain't sick. She at home watching a Grey's Anatomy.
And she ain't spinning either.
And then, listen, she at home watching Grey's Anatomy, taking care of my kids. She might be watching How to Get Away with Murder, and she gonna fill me in on what. She gonna fill me in on what's going on with Annalise Keaton when I get home. You know, but when you allow God to let it all flow together, and remember your assignment to one another first. Keep that pure. Make sure that she that you're sowing into her, and you're investing into her, and you're investing into one another, and you're promoting one another, championing one another. I think that that's so important, because ministry takes a part of. I've always said, I see so many people who lose their families.
Yes.
Husbands lose their wives, and vice versa. Wives lose their husbands, and they lose their children, talking about, well, I gotta do the work of the Lord. But he gave us children. So if he called you to do that much work, then maybe you shouldn't have children. So now you got to repent, because you have wounded children in the world that you produce, knowing that you was going to be this great somebody. And so we got to remember that first assignment to that family, because that says something, because that part of the church is missing greatly. You know, everybody shouldn't have the wounded PK story, or the wounded first lady story, you know. But it's a matter of us inquiring God for, what are you calling us to do in terms of our family, right? Maybe my sons don't grow up to be bishops after me, but maybe they grow up to be wonderful men of God who go off into law, but who love God with all their heart, right? You know, and that's important. Maybe she remains, you know, this silent killer, this tsunami that you don't see coming, you know, that you don't see coming, but it's praying heaven down when you're not paying attention. You know, maybe she doesn't graduate too, you know, and that's okay. You know, and I think a lot of times the traditions and the system often makes you miss that. And it makes you try to put yourself and put people you love in places that they're not called for. You know what I'm saying? And now you create a warfare. And now if your home ain't happy, your ministry is not going to be happy. So that is so important, man. And I've seen God just refresh us on every level and bring us together even the more, as I support her in her transition, and she supports me in my transition and whatnot. And we respect where we are as individuals, because even though we're one, we still are individuals. Right.
And I can say tonight, man, I really enjoyed this. I think what I've enjoyed the most is, I think this is the most I've ever heard Andrea talk since we've known each other. I mean, and she even came with a sound bite that we've been doing the whole time. So, this has been viral. It has been awesome tonight. It really has.
And so thank you so much for y'all wisdom. Thank y'all so much for y'all story, y'all love story. I loved it. Thank you so much for sharing and willing to share it.
Be transparent.
Yeah, we talked about transparency. I talked about transparency. I'm so sick of that word right now.
I like your post.
Yeah. I'm gotta be transparent. Nah, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Not just
in what form of transparency?
Now, in your marriage, yes, you should be transparent and honest. Yeah, as good as you want to be. But when it comes to being in front of people, you know, everybody can't handle that story. Some of those certain things that you went through.
You got to know what to say.
You got to know what to say, when to say, and how to say it. There's a time and place for everything. But anyway,
I agree.
But thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming on. We're over our time, which is still fine.
Sorry.
I loved the wisdom that y'all have dropped, and that y'all. So how long have you been pastoring, Murray?
So it is as long as me and her has been married. So it'll be 7 years this May, and we've been married in 7 years in April 26th.
Yeah, and that is amazing. A lot of people cannot attest or have that much wisdom in 7 years. A lot of people don't get it. Even though I didn't grow up in church, just these past few years, like you said, you see a lot of marriages are broken because at home they don't know how to handle the transitions or the assignments on each other's life, the respect, the wisdom, and what God has called each of them to do individually and together. So I love the love that y'all have. Y'all, opposites attract. Yes, most definitely. But y'all compliment each other so much, because I love the way I love the way. Like, she could be so quiet and you say something totally funny. She be like, I got you, boo. But I got you. And I'm like, she is so down for whatever. You hear me?
Sherry, look, let me tell you something. Me, you, and TJ and the wife, we're gonna get together so y'all can really see her. She raw, but that's why she says she's not an introvert. She just got the, you got them know the secret passcode to get in the door first. Right. And then, so we might need to go on a vacation or something, you know what I'm saying? So you
gotta wait that to my body in shape.
No, I ain't
Hey,
waiting.
look. One rule about vacation: don't nobody know you over there but you. So listen, don't worry about it. We ain't vacationing for the gram. We vacationing for total wholeness. You know what I'm
I
saying?
gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of this.
Now that's
keg.
one thing I can say, that y'all do take vacations. Y'all take time out for family,
Oh.
and y'all, and I see it all the time. So yeah, next time y'all go, y'all let us know so we can slide up on in there, because y'all do be taking vacations. Y'all
Listen,
be rolling.
That's
Y'all
an
be rolling.
investment. That's an
Yes.
investment. Married couples, even if you're dating, you have to see your spouse, your mate, as an investment. You're only going to get out
Yes.
of them what you put into them. Life
Yes.
is enough. So we got to make sure that we are doing the things to keep that happiness, that love alive, keep that smile, huh? Keep, tickle that hand every now and then, you know what I'm saying? You got to tickle, you know what I'm saying? TJ, what you doing with your hands, brother?
I'm tickling that hand, man. I'm tickling
Oh,
that hand.
okay. Okay, I'll make sure you ain't being too transparent right now.
You said we ain't like that word. I'm invested.
There you go.
That part.
But do y'all have anything else y'all want to say before we chime out? If not,
Plugs.
yeah, you want to promote any of your business, any of your lives, whatever. This is the time. Go ahead.
You want to promote yourself, baby? Listen,
I'll take that.
First of all, thank Thursday
Oh,
Love.
yeah.
Thank you guys for your March Madness platform, Marriage and Ministry. Big ups to all of the couples that came on this month and did their thing. I believe what God is going to do is he's going to do. So I don't need to plug anything. I want to plug y'all for being so awesome, being dedicated. We watch you guys with your family. We watch how you guys, we watch how you be watching him when he's sanding porches and stuff, and y'all paint houses together. And I want you all to know that a lot of times, it may look as if no one is looking. There's always a group that looks and they don't like. They like and they don't share. They share, but they don't comment. But somebody is watching, and I appreciate you all. We admire you all. And like I say, my wife wouldn't have came on here if she didn't like y'all, because she don't like a lot. She don't like certain people.
Thank you for liking me.
Some people
I do. I love y'all. I'm very particular about who's in my space.
I understand. Believe
Everything
me, I
is
totally understand.
compartmentalized for me, and health is wealth. And
listen.
Yes.
So we want to plug y'all. Thursday Love, March Madness. We know that y'all are going to do many more awesome things and whatnot. And so we love y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing, because you guys are impacting lives. And thank y'all for having us little nobodies from down here in Atlanta.
Whatever, don't look nobody. We love you guys. Most definitely love you guys. So yeah, I'm still serious about that vacation though. But
I gotta get my keg together. I gotta at least get one ab on one side.
How long that's gonna take?
How long, brother?
About a month. Honestly.
30 days.
30 days.
About a month. Yeah.
All right, y'all playing, but I got some. Y'all playing. I got some in the works. Y'all playing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I gotta cut out that sugar. And cut out that sugar and them pastas. Man, that junk will drop. You give me 2 weeks and I'll drop down 15 pounds. But I just can't do it.
Anyway, Lord have mercy.
I can do all things through Christ which
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a word for y'all, for everybody. I can do all things.
Amen. Lord have mercy.
Tickle the hand.
All right, tickle the hand. All right. We love you guys. Y'all have a great night. For those who tuned in tonight, thank y'all for staying with us and chiming in and giving us your comments, your feedback. We love you guys. We pray that y'all have a blessed and safe weekend. Y'all continue to love on each other out there. All right. Y'all have a great one.
See y'all.
Indeed.
Bye.
All right. Love.
Da, 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 da.